Cadillac's Formula One program has received the official go-ahead from Formula One management, with the American team gunning to enter the sport in 2026. Details about the program will likely still trickle out in the coming months, but this video will contain everything you need to know about the Cadillac F1 program and what it means. What is Cadillac F1? Cadillac F1 is the current name of the prospective 11th Formula One team that intends to join the grid in 2026. This entry began life as Andretti Global, with team owner Michael Andretti submitting a petition of interest with the FIA back in 2023. After Andretti submitted its entry, General Motors agreed to sign on. Though the FIA initially approved the Andretti entry, Formula One management (FOM) denied the team, arguing that the Andretti family name would not provide enough value to the championship. However, FOM admitted that it would be more amenable to accepting an entry from General Motors via the Cadillac brand. A shifting of personnel saw Michael Andretti step down from his leadership roles, with Dan Torres taking charge. Is Michael Andretti involved in Cadillac F1? Michael Andretti has helmed Andretti Global since he purchased the Forsyth/Green Racing IndyCar team back in 2002 and rebranded the operation. He was also at the forefront of the F1 entry, but that caused problems. Greg Maffei, CEO of Liberty Media, the company that owned FOM, allegedly told Mario Andretti that he would guarantee Michael Andretti never gained entry to Formula One. In October of 2024, Michael Andretti announced that he would be stepping back from running the team, instead handing the reins over to Dan Torres. Who is Dan Torres? Dan Torres is a financial investor from Indiana, who first got into racing via Zach Veach. Veach was looking for a sponsor for the 2017 Indianapolis 500, and his pastor put him in touch with Torres, the CEO and president of Group 1001 and Gainbridge. The following year, when Veach signed with Andretti in IndyCar, he brought Torres' sponsorship along with him. Torres soon fell in love with the sport, going so far as to buy an ownership stake in Andretti Global. It was his funding that also allowed the team to invest in new team facilities, expand into new forms of motorsport, and submit the entry for a Formula One team. Torres took charge of Andretti Global, and soon after, the F1 entry was renamed Cadillac F1. Torres is now the CEO of TWG Motorsports, a subsidiary of TWG Global that is in charge of Cadillac F1, Andretti Global, and Spire Motorsports. Has TWG Global replaced Andretti Global? TWG Global is an investment vehicle for Mark Walter, the co-founder and CEO of Guggenheim Capital. Dan Torres is CEO of TWG Global's motorsport business, but TWG also partially owns the Los Angeles Dodgers MLB franchise, as well as part of Premier League club Chelsea FC and the entirety of the Professional Women's Hockey League. In Formula One's press release, TWG Global has replaced Andretti Global when referring to the name of the team behind the Cadillac F1 entry, with the team name eventually evolving to simply Cadillac F1. Is Mario Andretti still involved? Yes, Mario Andretti is still involved in the Cadillac F1 entry. He has signed on as an advisor and has clarified on X that "I'll help where I can," a non-executive role with the team, not involved in day-to-day operations, because I don't want a job, but offering advice, inspiration, friendship anywhere I can. When will Cadillac F1 join the grid? Cadillac F1 intends to join the Formula One grid in 2026, to coincide with the new regulatory set. They will serve as an 11th team. Will Cadillac build its own power units? Cadillac will first enter as an 11th team in 2026, during which time it will purchase power units from another supplier. During that time, it will utilize Ferrari power units. Formula One stated in its press release that GM will enter as an engine supplier at a later time. GM initially stated that it hoped to provide engines by 2028, but it has since clarified that it intends to supply engines by the end of the decade. GM and Cadillac F1 announced the creation of a new company called GM Performance Power Units LLC, helmed by longtime motorsport engineer Russ Oblines. This is the company that will be tasked with creating Cadillac's power units. Will Cadillac continue its racing programs elsewhere? Yes, Cadillac has reaffirmed that it is committed to competing full-time in IMSA and the WEC, where the team intends to field prototype racers in the GTP class. Cadillac has renewed its partnership with Wayne Taylor Racing in IMSA for 2025. Andretti Global provides technical support to WTR, and will continue to do so in the future. Cadillac will also partner with Action Express Racing in IMSA. In the WEC, Cadillac will begin a new partnership with Hoda starting in 2025. Why did Formula One accept Cadillac now? This question does not yet have a definitive answer and could involve any number of factors. the departure of Michael Andretti, the Department of Justice investigation, the departure of Greg Maffei from Liberty Media, the departure of Renault from Formula One, and so much more. However, two things are clear. First, interest from a big-name company like General Motors was exactly what Formula One seemed to intend when it opened its expression of interest for teams. A multi-billion-dollar company, and an American one at that, is particularly important for the series. Second, F1 has admitted that GM/Cadillac has hit countless critical operational milestones despite its rejection, including building state-of-the-art team facilities, and actually developing a car based on 2026 regulations that is said to have already met the FIA's frontal impact standards. Who is involved in the Cadillac F1 team? While there are still plenty of questions in the air regarding team personnel, a handful of people have been confirmed for the Cadillac F1 team. Those personnel include Graham Lodon as team principal, formerly of Manor F1, manager of Zhou Guanyu. Nick Chester as technical director, formerly of Arrows, Lotus, Mercedes FE. John Tomlinson as head of aerodynamics, formerly of Jordan, Renault, Mercedes FE. John McWilliam as chief designer, formerly of Manor/Marussia Pro Drive. Chris Green as IT director. Naoki Tokunaga as senior strategic advisor. Caroline McGrory as chief legal officer. Laura Sterland as chief financial officer. Russ Oblines as CEO of GM Performance Power Units. Dan Torres as CEO of TWG Motorsports. How will this impact the Department of Justice investigation? When Andretti Global was rejected by FOM, it turned to the US Congress and the Department of Justice, claiming that Formula One was acting as a monopoly. Liberty Media confirmed that it was being investigated by the DOJ earlier this year, and that it was complying with the investigation. It is currently unclear how this investigation will proceed, but it is likely that Cadillac's entrance in F1 will quell the concerns. Who will supply power units to Cadillac F1 in 2026? Cadillac has inked a deal with Ferrari. The Italian company will provide Cadillac with power units from 2026, until the date that Cadillac is prepared to introduce its own power units.